Unless you've been gaming under a rock for the past 30 years or so, you've more than likely at least heard of a little series called Doom. After creating Commander Keen and more or less starting the first-person shooter genre with Wolfenstein 3D, id Software set their sights on pushing this genre even further, and thus, Doom was born in 1993. It would be an understatement to say that Doom was a success, as it not only pushed the envelope with FPS gameplay, community modding on PC, and selling millions of copies, but also received external media such as novelizations and even a highly controversial movie starring one Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. As much of a worldwide hit as Doom was, however, it has long shown its age, and the series is much more well known for the rebooted series published by Bethesda featuring Doom 2016, Doom Eternal, and the upcoming Doom The Dark Ages. There was once a time that Doom could, and would, be played on any machine known to man, but in recent years since the rebooted series has taken the mantle of the franchise, the older Doom games have fallen to the wayside and become certified boomercore. It's a known thing that Zoomers can barely use technology properly, so expecting any new generation of gamers to be able to open DOSBox or play an FPS without WASD and mouse aim is honestly futile, which makes me glad that Bethesda finally saw fit to re-release Doom 1, 2, Final Doom, and some other official classic Doom content in an updated package that's nice and friendly for all my homies that get excited whenever Todd Howard says it just works. Playing through this collection is not my first or my second rodeo through the classic Doom, but it would be my first time playing Doom 2. Included in this nice neat collection is obviously the titular Doom 1 and Doom 2, master levels for Doom 2, TNT Evolution, and the Plutonia experiment, which together make up what's known as Final Doom, the Doom 2 expansion No Rest for the Living, the Doom 1 expansion / 5th episode called Sigil, and a brand new episode for Doom called Legacy of Rust, which features new demons and weapons. I'm only going to be talking about the main two games, since that's what's in the name of the video, and honestly, playing so much Doom back to back can burn you out unless you just really love some Doom. Anyways, on to Doom 1. Starting with the OG, Doom is still very much the banger I'm sure it was back in the day. Doom's just one of those games that even if you can only stomach the latest releases and trends in the industry, you can still appreciate this game for what it was back in the day. Absolute banger music, an actually creepy and sometimes, dare I say, scary atmosphere, level designs that are legitimately fun and memorable, iconic enemy designs, and weapons that feel surprisingly good to shoot. Shoutouts to my goat the shotgun, best shotty in video games, being able to snipe demons all the way from the other side of the map. One thing that might take some getting used to if you're used to more modern FPS games is that you can't aim up or down in Doom, only left and right. This feels totally fine in-game though, since the game has a height-based auto-aim, so as long as you're in line with your target, your shots will hit, regardless of elevation. Doom is made up of 3 separate episodes and a final 4th episode acting as an epilogue, each episode containing roughly 8 to 10 individual levels, including some optional hidden ones. The pacing of Doom just works so well. The first episode having the most action-packed music, making you feel like all those memes of the Doom guy ripping and tearing through enemies. The second episode raises the difficulty slightly, and the atmosphere gets more uneasy while increasing the weapon variety. The third episode going full into horror vibes and forcing you to pull out all the stops just to stay alive. The only slip up is sort of the 4th and final episode, Thy Flesh Consumed, which was added in after the original release, and you can kind of feel that. The levels are genuinely great fun despite a massive difficulty spike here, and the action is way more intense than the previous levels, but it just feels a little jarring going from the end of the original finale straight into a couple of back-to-back puzzle levels that feel like they were just added in to give die-hard players an extra challenge. Some of them just feel more like community-made challenge levels than proper Doom levels, and while still good content, it just feels off slightly. The narrative would be what I would say is one of the genuinely weak parts of not only this first entry, but most of the collection here, as there's no dialogue present in the game at all, and the only story to be seen is just a few paragraphs upon completion of an episode. The story is more or less just being that you're a nameless marine on Mars as it gets invaded by demons, and after being sent to hell, you pull a Kratos and just fight your way out of that shit to get your revenge. I understand that the purpose of Doom is not to be a narrative-heavy game, but I still feel like it's fair to state for any story gamers out there that you won't be getting your next big narrative fix here. Regardless of this, I wouldn't even really call it a flaw of the game. This is just intended to be a basic but extremely fun brutal FPS game. And it is because it executes that mission so incredibly strongly despite its age, that I will be giving the original Doom a 9 out of 10. Demon Invasion doesn't stop here though, it's time for Doom 2. Oh boy, do I have some feelings about Doom 2. I've known about this series just about as long as I've been on the internet, but I can't really say I've heard people talk about Doom 2, whether positively or negatively, so I had no idea what to expect going into this. I do not hate Doom 2, but I don't love Doom 2 either. It plays and looks identically to the first game, seeing as it's on the same engine. There are a couple of extras in this sequel, but if you were looking for a big tech upgrade, you're not going to find it here. The biggest thought in my head while I was playing it was, oh no, it's Dark Souls 2 all over again. This will make sense, trust me. Doom 2 takes everything that made the original game great, dials it up an extra notch, but loses a lot of the charm and personality in the process. The story of Doom 2 is that at the end of the first game, you're back on Earth and oh no, so are the demons. So it's time to kick them back to hell where they belong. The problem with that is that these graphics and visuals just cannot actually make any environments that look like anything on Earth. Aside from one level with skyscrapers, it just felt like it was in the same sort of areas as Doom 1. If it wasn't in the title, Doom 2 Hell on Earth, and the short story text dumps for exposition, I genuinely wouldn't know that that's where it was set. The level design as well has taken a slight dip in quality as far as playability goes. The levels in Doom 2 really feel like they're out to get the player, honestly. One bad door open and bam, level run over. There's so many more things in the levels that if you don't know about them already being there, you're gonna have a bad time, and more than likely going to have to restart the level. I suppose the mentality behind it was that Doom 2 was supposed to be played and enjoyed by people who played a lot of Doom 1 and wanted a bigger challenge. That makes sense, seeing as the difficulty of Doom 2 overall matches up quite well to Thy Flesh Consumed from Doom 1. I think it would have been a lot better to have a traditional difficulty curve of easy start, medium middle game, and hard end game, but just overall make it all just a tad harder than Doom 1, rather than picking up where the first game left off. I had a system to not cheese the first game, where I was only allowed to save at the very start of a level, but after the first third or so of this game, I very much had to abandon that rule to preserve my mental sanity. There was one too many a time I made it 20 minutes or so into a level and got insta-killed walking into a room I had no idea about. I did really enjoy the last act of the game, spoiler alert, taking place in Hell once again. The Hell levels weren't as brutal as the middle portion and felt like they had a lot more creativity with the layouts. I don't want to make it seem like the gameplay in Doom 2 is bad, it very much isn't, and is even a step up compared to the first game. There's a new weapon added, which is a sort of shotgun, dealing way more damage than the regular shotgun at close range only, but also using 2 shells at a time, making you really have to be conscious to not unnecessarily burn through all your shoddy ammo. Several new enemies make their debut in Doom 2 as well. The Best New Enemy award goes to the Revenant for just being a badass giant skeleton pogging out of its mind and firing rockets from its shoulders. Man, I wish I was that guy. The worst new enemy award goes to the Pain Elemental! This saggy testicle looking son of a bitch can go float off a cliff. I hate him and all the flame skulls he spawns both when alive and when killed. The scariest new enemy award goes to the Archvile, whose creepy scrawny ass makes me turn around and save my game every time he's around. The Archvile can ruin a perfectly good level run in about 5 seconds unless you break line of sight, and those are terrifying prospects in a game where you get caught on geometry all the time. I'm sad to say, the music isn't as memorable or catchy in Doom 2 compared to the first game, which hurts a bit considering it's quite a fair bit longer than the first game. The playtime coming in for me at nearly 10 hours or so for just a casual run through. I want to make it clear, I didn't hate my time with Doom 2 and still found it a good game in its own rights. I just found it a slightly less memorable and slightly more frustrating experience compared to the first game. I was going to give Doom 2 a 7.5, but then I remembered that it has Revenants and that instantly bumps it up so that Doom 2 Hell on Earth gets a score of 8 out of 10. So how is the Doom 1+2 collection as a whole package? I can't speak to the other content available in this review, but let's take a look and see what this new collection is like as its own release. This new Doom 1 and Doom 2 collection not only has a very nondescript name, but also comes with a slew of genuinely great quality of life improvements. These are including but not limited to widescreen support for up to 4K resolutions and 120Hz refresh rates, new clearer text for the menus, and updated PC controls for WASD and mouse controls that no longer shoot you into lava pits because you accidentally moved the mouse forward a smidge. Some of the extra features added into this collection are a crosshair customizable in shape and colour, achievements to unlock if that's your poison, and a brand new remixed soundtrack by Andrew Hulshult. This new soundtrack sounds genuinely great and is fairly faithful to the original level tracks, but personally I didn't use it because it feels more like it's trying to match the vibe of Mick Gordon's modern Doom series soundtracks. That's more than likely the point of the new remixes, to make the classic Doom games feel a bit more related in tone to the newer series, but personally, I really like the creepy and isolating vibe that the original soundtrack has. Keep the spirit of the original games, you know? Doom 1 and 2 also have full online and local multiplayer functionality, so if that's your poison, it's available here. My second favourite thing about this release is that when you boot the collection, it makes you pick what game or expansion you're gonna play and gives you a full on-screen essay of when the game released, what kind of content is in it, and how it came to be made. This makes the first part of the main menu not just feel like a game selector, but also a Doom history museum to learn more about the series' history. My absolute favourite thing about this collection is actually the fact that for anyone who already owned Doom 1 and 2, at least on PC, you received this upgrade collection completely for free, and it does not override your original games. If you want to play your original DOS versions, you totally still can. I purchased the collection soon after launch on Steam for a measly $18 Australian at full price, only to realise that I'd been given it for free on Good Old Games due to owning the OGs on that already, and I wasn't even mad about paying for the Steam collection. Just seems like an oddly pro-consumer move in an industry that has very much forgotten how to value its customers. I will be giving the Doom 1 and Doom 2 collection a score of 10 out of 10. This is how you take a classic game and alter it enough to make it play like a totally modern game, but alter it only just enough that it feels like it always was this way. Combined with the great price for such a bundle of content, this really does become an essential buy for FPS dedicated fans and anyone who wanted to try out these earlier games but couldn't quite get past the old PC jank barrier. I'm excited to get to the other Doom expansions and level packs in time, but I very much need a break from all the dooming. Doom Guy might not stop, but this reviewer sure does. Thanks for watching, everyone.